Welcome back, and thank you for staying with Sunrise. Now, Ezekiel, earlier you mentioned the National Assembly. Trouble may be brewing there regarding the leadership in the Ninth Assembly.
And that brings to mind 2015.
Yeah. Okay. No, 2015 is a child's play because...
Seriously?
Yes, it is. There are three issues involved. Number one is governance. The National Assembly plays a pivotal role in governance. Two sets. One, being able to, there are three core functions. Representation, okay? Then we talk of oversight, and we talk of lawmaking, okay? So in terms of governance, the National Assembly is very, very, very strategic. What do you find? The first is that the executive, the party, wants to have an understanding of some sort in terms of control. And people have come to this chair I'm sitting and told me why it is important to have a National Assembly that the president can work with. But the National Assembly is set up as an alternate body to be able to look you in the eye and say no. So if you want to work with the National Assembly, you have to be somebody that comes with a program that is well articulated that you present to them. And where there is a problem, you go to the people, because as an executive, you have access to the people. The people will put pressure on the National Assembly. But this is a kind of inside game between the National Assembly and, the executive. So that's number one. It's not about governance, it's about control and command. It's about power play. That's number one. Number two, the party. No, when Oshomole says, my big brother Oshomole, I have to give him, His Excellency Oshomole, I'm looking for a way to make it look good, says, we must have everything, we cannot give anything to opposition, blah, 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 and people make noise. Why should they make noise? That is his role and his position as a party chairman.
Leader.
Yes, he is not the president. We have to come to learn to draw lines. That's why I had a lot of problems with the information minister. Okay? When you come into governance, you no longer are partisan. You are now national. So the party secretary can say a lot of things, but the information minister can speak on national issues. He cannot afford the luxury of being partisan because he is now Nigerian. But the party chairman cannot talk compromise. He must talk tough and everything. But when you come into the National Assembly, that is the place where the people inside there have to take a decision based on what they perceive as their primary role and interest. And in this case, governance is not their primary role and interest. No, it's personal interest. So APC has to be extremely careful, because if these people in PDP have been able to rock deals with APC members, being able to offer them what they call juicy, committees. What makes a committee juicy? Okay? It means that this, and it's going to be secret ballot. It's like they're going to be making eye contact around, and the result might shock everybody. It's about personal interest. Which committee I can be offered, even if I'm a new person, you can be given chairmanship. And the deceit is such that they will tell them that appropriation committee, they will offer chairmanship to 6 people. And each person doesn't want to say it. Not knowing that he's not alone. He thinks he's fighting for this person. Not knowing that that person has already offered it to so many others. So at the end of the day, immediately the officers come out. The next set of fight is going to be the lies you told. Because I've arisen as maybe the speaker or the Senate president. So, bros, you said I was going to be chairman of the oil and gas, whatever. And incidentally, you can't give it to that because you've already promised 4 people. So we're going to be expecting a lot of fighting when the leadership arises because of the lies that they have been told all along. But you see, what bothers me is, to what extent are we, the people, going to be able to call these people to order? And I think that We can do that.
Yes. I'd like to ask you, how?
I'll tell you. In Akwa Ibom, I contested the last, elections. I wrote something that a lot of people were, no, you should work with. I said, no. I am one person that I have food to eat, and I'm happy with the food I eat with my wife. I'm not looking for an extra car. I'm not looking for an extra house. I'm okay where I am. So if I go to work with my governor, there is an unwritten rule. They say the man that is eating cannot afford to talk. It's bad table manners. So let me be outside. Let me be hungry. So that there be one man who can look the governor in the eye and say, no, he can't do that. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
Yes. We call Trump. But if you call your governor, Udom, hey, His Excellency, the executive governor, I don't know which governor is non-executive. You understand? He must address, we have deified these people, but I can sit and become his worst nemesis, whatever. Let there be
And
people.
you prefer that position?
Yes, I prefer that position. It's a hard position. Government money is sweet, very sweet. But we must be willing to make certain sacrifices to be able to put these people on their toes. You have no business living in Abuja and Lagos. Shut down the liaison office in Lagos. Shut down the liaison office in Abuja. You have no business having this fleet of convoy. That is our vehicles that you are using. Shut them down. You have no business doing all. We
And
need
use
to
the
be able
money
to
to
look.
build better roads.
Use the look. You come and you want to do certain projects, but it aches my heart that water is not a priority. I want to see that governor that says, until there is water in every community in this state, I'm not going to do any other thing. Water is not a luxury. It's a priority. But we are busy commissioning, all these grandiose. So I believe that I'm not alone. I'm not the only person. I believe that there are millions or thousands of Nigerians who are not depending on government.
Yep.
Do you understand?
Yep.
Let us learn to rise and respect leadership. I will never sit here and disparage or insult my governor. I will never do that. But I'm not going to look at him. He is my servant. He's my boy. I pay his salary.
Indeed.
I pay my governor's salary. He's living on my rent. He's living on the money he spends is not his. Dangote, I can lie down for Dangote and give him Sai Baba. Do you understand me? But not the president, not the governor, not the National Assembly members. We need to help them and make them human.
They are supposed to be our servants.
Yes.
But the way they carry on, you can see that.
So some people have to
are
stand
not
up
our
and say,
servants.
you are not.
I remember when Professor Soludo came on this program when he was going to go for governor, and he said he was going to be different. And I said, if you win, I will remind you of this conversation the day that your siren is blowing and I have to jump into the gutter or by the gutter because you want to pass. I will remind you. And he said, I will never be that kind of governor. Yeah. Unfortunately, he didn't win.
Yeah.
But the governor is coming and all of us still have to jump into the gutter.
We have an example. I have my hero. I'll say it everywhere. Pt.2. He did it. I stood online with him. He sat behind me. I had his voice. You can't miss it. I say it, respectfully. And he like, what's that? I turned. I was on the queue in the airport. And he was there right there. I said, Your Excellency. What was it? He said, my brother, leave this thing. And he was carrying his bag. And we bought the ticket. When he, as a second-term governor, not when he left office, as a second-term governor. And we strolled like that to the lounge until they called his. And I was watching. When he was boarding, I saw one policeman, that was behind him. That was it oddly. The man was carrying his bag. And he lived there for 2 terms. So it can be done.
Being a normal Nigerian.
Donald Duke is another person. Lived a simple life. You understand? Convoy, 5 cars maximum. About 3 months to leaving office, 3 to 6 months. He was driving himself to the airport and driving still as governor. And then you are telling me you must have a convoy of 36 SUVs. Each of them is being fueled by us.
Yeah. Let's go to Abuja. Esther, the 1999 Constitution, as amended, talks about, that is section 50, subsection 1A and B, says the House will elect their Speaker, the Senate President within themselves, no zoning. But, somehow there's this issue of zoning coming in and, where should the place of, what is considered as merit, where should it be when it comes to electing the Speaker and of the House of Representatives and the Senate President?
Thank you. Thank you very much. The drafters of our Constitution made it clear in the section you cited, Section 50, that members of the National Assembly shall elect from amongst themselves, the Speaker, Senate President. Now, the reality, however, the reality is that there are allied considerations that power the pattern of voting. The sense of zoning has come to stay. We see it playing out in our political parties. We even see it playing out in other organizations where we belong to. Because there is that need to give a sense of belonging, to each and every member or each and every citizen. And therefore, there are various considerations. Zoning is one of those considerations that should influence power sharing because of the homogeneous nature of our society, because we are still a country in search of nationhood. Now, besides zoning, there are other considerations that should also influence, voting. Like you said rightly so, merit is one of them. And then we will have to talk about the gender consideration. Gender consideration. Why am I proposing that there should be the gender consideration? Because we have a national gender policy that this country has given unto itself. We are signatories to various instruments that say, listen, in the sharing of power, particularly political appointments and all that, you must give a place to women. Sister, that is why I'm saying, besides that zoning factor that should be considered, if you now talk about zoning, the Southeast must be considered. Because like my big brother in the studio noted, Oshimole spoke from the position of the party. All right? That is it. He's a party that, nobody expects him to say any less than what he said. Those are his prophecies. But certain consideration, what comes to the Southeast, for instance? If you consider the Southeast, if you say, for instance, at the House of Representatives, remember, the Southeastern states, South states, they gave Mr. President the critical votes that enabled him to meet the constitutional requirements for his declaration as a president. Critical votes. And so if you see the likes, that's why I am saying that besides the fact of zoning, Southeast, also consider gender. And I make bold to talk about one woman in the House of Representatives, four-time honorable member. I'm talking about Honorable Nkiruka Onyejocha, four-time honorable member. She is running for speaker. Let us lend our support and make her the speaker. This is a consideration, that is, finally rests in the hands of her colleagues. But it should be a factor. Four times. Honorable Binta Boka is there. All right? Why not? She's running, she wants to be a leader. Let her be. Because these are persons from APC. If you now go to the Senate, we have Remi Tinubu. Hello? It is time for we have a Senate since 1999 that is chiefly championed by men. Look at where we are. The Gender and Equal Opportunity Bill, they threw it out. And we are not better for it. It is inconceivable that how can we proceed if we do not consider our women? If you tie two birds together, even if they have, a bird can never fly with one wing, no matter how big that wing is. Give the women a chance. Let her speak. Let Honorable Nkiruka speak. Let her speak. Let her be the speaker. Let her prophesy for the good and betterment of this. I think you are here.
Thank you. Let's
here. But Ezekiel,
I belong to a group called He for She. So please, you have my 100% vote on that. Because this group actually is men.
Okay.
Men who believe that the women ought to be. In my own case, it's not because I'm a nice guy. My mother did everything for me. My father just, since I was born till he died, I'm not sure he spent up to 2,000 naira on me. And I mean, he died after I graduated. So, but my mother carried everything on my head. Everything about me is about my mother. As of today, sitting down here, before I came here, my wife gave me, she's the most intelligent in the house. But please, don't let everybody hear that, you know. I've never come first since I was born. She's never come second. So she's an intelligent person. I bet it comes with its own responsibility. I have to tell her sometimes that she should, you know, as a man, submit, you know, don't be too intelligent.
Submit to your husband.
We'll still be talking about, you know, gender,
so I
gender
just want
issues.
to, you know, he for she, I want to say that the women, actually, if you see, people may be scared to give Bola Remi Tinubu, you know, for maybe they think maybe you do favor the husband, but why don't you make her maybe the deputy speaker, and then she's in the House of, yes, she's in the House of Assembly, she's in the Senate. Okay, deputy Senate president, and then you can now play with the other part, you know, maybe. Anyway, let me leave that. What I'm saying is that she is a good material, and I support her.
We'll be talking more about this later. But you know what?
The 9th Assembly is almost being inaugurated. I mean, come May, they are there. I mean, what kind of 9th Assembly are you expecting in light of all the tussles that are going on right now, even before they have been inaugurated?
I'm expecting a 9th Assembly that left the way they are going is going to be extremely turbulent, is going to be extremely divisive, is going to be extremely unfocused, because Mr. President is not going to go for a 3rd term. So 2023 has started. So the positioning and everything is going to come. But in spite of that being what should be, I believe it will not be so. The reason is that there's going to be a lot of men and women of goodwill who are going to rise up, who are going to give them a lot of ideas on what to do, who are going to let them realize that their personal interests cannot override national interest. As a result, I'm going to see a situation where somewhere along the line, they start to toe the line of the agenda that is going to be set, not by them, but by the private individuals, by the citizens of this country who mean well. There's going to be a group of people that are going to come together and think in terms of bringing us what we call the national vision that does not. She's just talked about the Igbos, the South is the South, because Nigeria is effectively balkanized into what you may call the North, the Southwest, and the South, okay? Because South is South, sometimes it's difficult to draw good lines between them. So basically, I see a situation where we are going to like rock a little bit, but before the end of 1 year, we are going to relatively stabilize, because the transition into a government that works based on social governance structure is going to be birthed by the elites of this country.
Okay, let's quickly go back to Esther. You know, what's your own take? What do you expect quickly from, you know, the 9th Assembly?
And that will be your parting shot.
All right. This assembly, the 9th Assembly, I see a lot of vibrancy presently. I have very strong belief that there will not be a rubber stamp assembly. If you also look at the caliber of men in the Senate or persons in the Senate and the House of Representatives, you know, no doubt, because these are people who won their elections by themselves. As such, I see them, you know, particularly the House of Reps, they are more in touch, you know, with the grassroots. Again, concerning this 9th Assembly, the female has that potential to be a stabilizing force. You know, ordinarily, when you bring, men tend to behave themselves when there are females in the house. So imagine when the beauty and peace that will come to this country when we have Nkiruka Onyejocha, you know, powering from the House of,
who is a rights activist, and we also had in the studio in Lagos, Ezekiel Inyo-Etok, who is an architect. Thank you both very much for coming to share your insights with us this morning. Sunrise will be back with another interesting conversation in just a moment. Do stay with us.